Hi everyone, it's Patti Behan and thank you for tuning in today. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make this fun pop-up card and we're going to learn how to paint with liquid pearls. And don't forget to like this video and to subscribe to our channel so you never miss a new tutorial. So let's get started. To begin, I have a piece of Simon Hurley cardstock cut to 11 by 7.5, another piece cut to 3 by 5.5, and another piece cut 1 inch by 3 1/4 inch. And to start off, I'm going to put the paper on my scoring board here, and I'm going to move it down just a little bit and put my first score line at 2 inches. And then we're going to score it again at 3 1/4 inches. And I'm pressing down pretty hard and going over it a couple times since this cardstock is pretty thick. And next we have our other piece of paper here, and we're going to make a little box in the corner in the upper left hand side at 1 1/8 inch, and I'm using a pencil to do that. And then down the bottom here, again, I'll measure 1 1/8 inch. And then I'm going to put a line on the diagonal in the middle here. And we're going to score on that diagonal. And I'll put it in the board here and then go ahead and press it down. And then we're going to just fold that over and make a nice crease. And then we can go ahead and set that aside. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our larger piece of cardstock and we're going to cut it in half vertically. So that's going to be at 3 3/4, like so. Okay, and they should be even. And then we have all of our pieces ready to cut out. And then once again, I'll show them to you here. And we're going to come back and we're going to do our stamping and painting. So what I have is just one of our pieces of cardstock, and put the scored lines to your left. And then I have the Simon Hurley Create Birthday Party stamp set, and I'm going to use the gift boxes and stamp with jet black archival ink. And I'll ink up the stamp really well. And then I'm going to stamp it down on that second score line and about like an inch from the bottom. And I'm going to stamp it once and then re-ink my stamp. And then after I do that, I'm going to stamp it right at the corner of that last little gift box there. And keep going across. And then I still have a little space at the end there, so I'm going to stamp it one more time, and I'll be going off of the card. Let me just move that over, and now we can stamp it down. And then we're going to add the sentiment at the bottom. I'm going to stamp Happy Birthday. So I'll put it on the block, ink up the stamp, and then just do it down towards the end of the card right there. Okay, and next we're going to take our little pop-out piece and we're going to stamp that, and you want to put it so that the writing is away from you and the score is at the bottom right. And we're going to stamp the balloons, and we're going to put that all the way up to the top and kind of like leaning toward the left a little bit, just like that. And then next we're gonna stamp our sentiment. Let me make that straight. Ink up the stamp. And then after we ink up the stamp, we're going to stamp that right under that balloon, and then kind of like at a right angle straight across, like so. And now that that's done, we're ready to paint. So now I have all our pieces in front of me again. I have a glass of water to clean my brush, and I have liquid pearls. This is Dazzle. And we're going to start out by painting that 1-inch strip. We're going to put a little bit of the liquid pearls onto the craft sheet. And I have a 1/2-inch brush here. And we want to first wet the brush, and then we're going to add a little bit of water to the liquid pearls. And then we're going to just paint this strip all the way down. And you don't want to make it too wet. You just want to cover the whole strip. And then we'll just set that aside to dry. And then let me clean up my spot here. And we're going to continue to use the Dazzle liquid pearls, and I'm going to change my brush size now to a number 6 Ranger Artist brush. We need to add a little more paint to start coloring in all of the presents and the balloons. So I'll add some more water as well, and I'm going to start painting in the packages. The little bow here we'll do in the Dazzle. I'm going to try and paint all the Dazzle colored things first, and then I'll move on to the next paint color. So now I'm going to paint in the balloon here, and you can use any colors you like while you're doing this. And the great thing about this, it dries to a nice pearlescent shimmer. You can use the paint straight out of the bottle, but I like to add some water for like a watercolor effect. Now I'm using some Brilliant liquid pearls. I'll put it onto the craft sheet and add some water. Okay, I think I'll start painting the balloon here. You don't want your brush too wet. You can see I'm removing some of the excess liquid. And then I'm going to speed this up, and it's going to be the same procedure for each color that you use. Once I'm done with the blue, I'm going to use the yellow, which is lightning, and then we're going to move on to the green, which is called electric. And then I'll just let the music play a little bit while you watch me. Okay, I think that looks good. I'll clean out my brush, and let me bring it up closer so that you can see it. And now we're going to add some splatters of the paint, and just going to add some more paint to the craft sheet here. Make sure you get it nice and wet. Add a lot of water, and I'm taking a piece of scrap paper and holding it over the presents so that I don't get so many splashes of paint on top of those. And I'm just putting a little bit of each of the colors I used until I'm happy with how it looks. And if you feel you don't have enough of one color, you can go back and forth and add whatever color you feel that's missing. And once we're finished with that, we're ready to move on to the next thing. So now I have that strip of cardstock that we painted. I have a pencil, a perfect medium pen, and white embossing powder. And I'm going to draw a little arrow with the pencil right in the center here. That's going to be our little sign for the people to pull the card open. And I'm going to draw a thin line with the pencil and draw it lightly. I put it a little darker so that you can see it. And then I'll make this line a little thicker with the pen. This is the bullet tip perfect medium pen. And I just want to make sure that my line is thick enough. And then we're going to pour some white embossing powder over top, and I'm working over a piece of scrap paper. And then we'll return the excess into the jar, and then we'll heat it until it melts. Okay, and now we're going to glue this down to the left side of the card. I'm just making sure that it has cooled down, and I'm going to use a tape runner to glue this down flush to the left edge, like so. And now we're going to add some unicorn stickles. And we're going to start off by putting little highlights on the balloons. And I'll bring it closer so that you can see. And then we'll put some on the little bows of the packages. And once that's done, we're going to set this aside to dry, and then we'll come back and put it all together. Okay, now that we have all of our pieces in front of us, we're going to fold at the score line. The first one is going to be a valley fold, and the second one is going to be a mountain fold. And we're going to take a bone folder, and we're going to make sure the crease is nice and crisp. And I'm using a piece of scrap paper so that I don't mar the paper. And now we'll do the same thing with our other piece. We do a valley fold and then a mountain fold, and make sure the scoring is nice and crisp. Okay, and so now we're going to take the blank piece and we're going to place it so that the score is to your right, and then we're going to go ahead and burnish that score line really well, and we're going to place it so that it's about like 1.25 inches down the page. And we're going to do a little test. I'm putting a dot of adhesive tape runner, and then I'm going to close it to make sure that that top doesn't stick out. And then once we do that, we also want to check and make sure that the pop-up doesn't hit that fold there. So it looks like we're good to go, and now we can permanently glue this down. So I'm putting a little pencil mark where it goes, and then I'm using the Dina Wakley Media Glue, which is a nice strong adhesive, and I'm putting it all on this corner here, and then I'm going to just smooth it out a bit, and then attach it to that place where I put my little score line there. As you glue this down, another thing that you want to be mindful of is to make sure that the corner of that pop-up is in between those two scored lines. You don't want it to overlap. And I'm just burnishing that a little bit and waiting for the glue to dry a little bit before I test it again. And then we're going to use a tape runner and glue the top card flush to the end here. and then we're going to close it. Okay, that looks good. And before we glue this down, we want to make sure that the pop-up isn't obstructed by anything. And then we're going to go ahead and glue the other side down with the tape runner. I'll turn it over and put glue on that tab there. And then we'll just test it to make sure it's working. Okay. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to trim that extra white piece off. You can keep it there, but I want to just take that off and trim it down like so. Okay, and I'm just testing it out again. I can't stop playing with it. And this will fit into just a regular number 10 size envelope. I just wanted to show you. You could decorate the envelope if you like. And that's it. So if you want to give this a try, check out the link in the description box below for everything we used today. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more creative inspiration. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.